Hello, welcome to Spotlight, beaming artistically over the Isle of Man.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
This evening, we catch up with two of the actors involved in a forthcoming performance of Ibsen's The Doll's House at Ballakermeen Studio Theatre. Have a last look at the wonderful Perspectives exhibition at the Loom Gallery in Laxey, and speak to joint conductor of the Isle of Man Symphony Orchestra, Kirkland, ahead of the orchestra's Gala performance at the Villa Marina on the 23rd of this month. Remember, do get in touch with any creative artistic endeavours you might be involved in, planning, hoping to create, or would really like to put in the spotlight. Yes, poetic, theatrical, musical, literary, ceramic, sculpture, drag, film, mime, social media, digital, calligraphy. There's loads others. Just get in touch if you know more, or you're one of those. Howard Kane with an E at manxradio.com, spotlight at manxradio.com. Tell me what you're doing, come in and have a chat. Let's get you featured on the programme. More of you are, more of you can. Let's do it. Now, while I remember, shameless plug alert, poetry lovers, listen out. There's a new podcast coming to Manx Radio very soon, inspired by the recent acquisition of a little book recently very kindly gifted to me. I won't say more. Who knows, though, you may feature on the podcast, or perhaps one of your loved ones, particularly if you remember Pause for a Poem on Manx Radio back in the day. Alan Jackson, Louise Quirk. Ringing any bells? I'll leave it there. Suffice to say, look out for the podcast via the Manx Radio website or your usual podcast provider. Now, a new production of Ibsen's classic play The Doll's House is being staged at the Ballakermeen Studio Theatre shortly. The play concerns the fate of a married woman lacking a chance for self-fulfilment in a male-dominated world of 19th century Norway. Ibsen at the time denied it was his intent to write a feminist play, caused quite a sensation at the time. And it went beyond the theatre, the world of newspaper society, big news. The message still relevant in today's society. The adaptation of the play by Amy Herzog is being performed by the Service Players, and two of the actors in the production came into the Spotlight studio to tell me more.
My name's Georgie King and I'm playing Christine in A Doll's House.
My name's Daniel Carroll Corley and I'm playing Krogstad in A Doll's House.
So it was written in the 1800s, I believe, and it's about, it follows the story of a housewife named Nora who throughout the play sort of learns more about her worth and her status in the household and what she sort of learns what she maybe deserves and what she wants out of life. She has, I don't want to spoil too much, but she has maybe committed an indiscretion. So she is throughout the play trying to hide that and get rid of it, and she does a lot of lying and a lot of manipulating, but she's also really lovable. So it's really a play about her and her journey.
And Dan, it's a play you were familiar with, or have you done before at any stage? Or
Yeah, so I remember studying it like when I was at school a very long time ago now. This version of it is like a very fresh version because it's an adaptation. Like I remember that version, it's very dense. The characters are like very fleshed out and have a lot of layers.
Yeah. And the original play, I think, is a long play.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. But it's still like timeless and it's really relevant to today. It's got a lot of very important, compelling themes. Like it's about society and how unfair it can be, like women's role in society, outsiders' role in society, and so like how people can be changed by it, and I don't know how people can sort of like kind of discover who they are outside of society as well. Mm-hmm. It's all very sort of vague, but like
yeah. But the themes, as you say, because sometimes I think it was written like say the 1870s or something originally or thereabouts. But and so there is that thing sometimes, isn't there? Society's changed a lot since then, but it still, as you say, speaks to modern society.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I mean, like the character I play, like he is an outsider, and he's an outsider because of his social status and also because of the things he's had to do. So he's been shunned, and it's very easy to relate to that. From many different groups. Like if you feel like you are, someone who finds it harder to find a place in society or to be accepted in society, or how you're judged by society, and how that can affect someone. And how it affects like the dynamics between different people. All the characters in this play, they've sort of grown up like from childhood together, I think, as well. Like they've gone to the same school, so they have a history all together as well. So it's very complicated.
And George, your character is
Christine. Yeah, so Christine and Krogstad, Dan's character, they are sort of have a history.
Oh yes.
Which comes about a bit more obviously at the in the latter part of the play. But they're quite different, I would say, but very similar in the same way. So Krogstad is they're both very intelligent, I think, and very good at sort of appearing confident and getting what they want. In a not always in a nice way, I guess. Sometimes in a nice way.
Yeah.
But they're also quite different in that I think Krogstad comes across as maybe someone who has had a bit of a rough lot in life and is still stuck in that, whereas I think Christine she was given a rough lot, but she's made it work for her, and she's still appears to be thriving, even though that might not have been the case always, whereas Krogstad's definitely still struggling with the lot that he's been given. I'd
say like both of them are kind of, at the start of the play at least, maybe given up hope that they'll ever get the kind of like happy life they want. And maybe Christine's kind of like accepted that. I think Krogstad is still struggling because he's still being pushed down, and when he's first introduced and first talked about, he is like the antagonist. He's the one that's at odds with Nora and putting a lot of pressure on her, and it's only sort of over the course of the play that you realise actually the things that are motivating him are actually very relatable and understandable, and it gives him sort of that kind of like grey morality that yes, he's done or he is doing things that you could say are bad things, but he's also been motivated by some good intentions, and he's not entirely a bad person. He's just sort of been downtrodden and put upon by society.
They are very complex.
All
of the characters definitely are so complex.
They are, and it's not often we see Ibsen on the stage on the Isle of Man, really. I think this play is performed a lot. It's, I think, a highly performed play around the world and has been for years, not that far behind Shakespeare, I think. But I was racking my brains. I can't remember it being performed here before.
No, I haven't.
On the Isle of Man. I might be wrong, but it's certainly, if it has, it's not something that crops up very often. So it's great, really. And I know the service players have been terrific at that over the last few years of putting on these, as well as, I mean, the last time I saw you on stage, Dan, I think it was the Shakespeare, and before that, I think it was the Agatha Christie. So this is it. You've covered quite a spectrum in the last.
It's like it's nice to play like a character that is like very different. Actually, like I don't often get the opportunity to play someone that's like quite. I don't want to say menacing or villainous, because he's not that. He's complicated.
A little bit.
But yeah, especially from the outset, he's introduced as meant to be the antagonist and villainous and intimidating, but he might become kind of lovable and cushy towards the end. Who knows? Depends if I do a good job or not, I guess.
And what about the rehearsal process? I think Dan Gray's actually been taking charge of this in actual direction point of view. Is it being done sort of in a sort of straight way, or is he putting his own twist on it?
The first few rehearsals, I think he said it was Chekhov, the sort of technique that he was using, where you go through the script and you take sort of intentions and then name them. So you might name the intention as being smothering Nora or whatever, but then you would put, like, as in that's the character's intention for that part of the scene, but then we were putting it into action. So he was like, we'll have to find a way to show physically, not verbally, that you are smothering Nora with your body. So at first we were all like, oh my gosh, like this is proper, like I think he's quite trained as an actor. So at first quite a few of us were like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do this. This is proper theatre stuff, proper drama stuff. But it helped so much, and it really also helped break the ice. I think a lot of those first rehearsals were just like we were doing a lot of really important work, but we were also giggling a lot, and it's really informed the later work when we're off script and things, where we're able to sort of, I guess the physicality has already been embedded in our psyche maybe a little bit. Right. So it was bizarre at first, but I think it was like really, really helpful.
Yeah. And before you know it, you're rolling on the floor and like chasing each other around the room, and like you stop for a moment and you're like, if someone walked in right now, like it just looks like an asylum. You know?
Yeah. And then obviously we don't do any of that physicality in the play, but it informs
it helps ingrain it in you. So then when you like come to using the lines and doing the scene, you've got that bit sort of embodied. It does help.
And do you think, like you said, the sort of themes and the feminist themes that are sort of portrayed in the play, we were saying still relevant, do you think it's got a broad appeal to people who are thinking of coming along to see it?
Yeah, I think like I don't know who said it, but like it is kind of like the beta soap opera in a way, because it's got a lot of like time spent with characters fleshed out, a lot of conflict.
A lot of drama.
Yeah, and it's like a little like snapshot of a society as well, you know.
And it does actually, surprisingly, and I think this is always the way for really quite intense dramas where there's a lot of conflict, it does have some quite funny little moments. Like absolutely. Nora herself is a very interesting, quite funny character. So I think that helps a bit as well with, I love the contrast between like the really dark moments and the just silliness of Nora. She's great. Yeah. And Saoirse does an amazing job of portraying that sort of vast, that whole spectrum.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's Saoirse Coyle-Carroll who's playing the sort of main character. I think Nora, was Ewan McFarlane playing Torvald as well, yourself and Krogstad, yourself Georgia Christine, and then John Walker, well known on the Manx stage, of course, as Dr. Rank, and Rachel Martin, long-term service player, playing Anne Marie. It's great cast, and has it been fun rehearsing together? Because it sounds like even though it's quite intense, as you say, it's not necessarily known for its laughs, but it sounds like it has been a really good, not only a challenge but also fun rehearsing this.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been awesome. I've not done anything on this sort of level for a while. The last few things that I did were in very intimate spaces and were more like monologue type things. So I did 8 and then a factual sort of semi-fiction monologue thing. But so this to do like with a lot of scenes where it's 2 people and there's a lot of sort of subtleties and subtext. Like it's been really interesting to have sort of a scene with every person and get to see them shine as an actor as well. And they're all just like, even though we are doing really intense stuff, they're just such great sports and so funny. And it's been really, really enjoyable.
And Dan Sebastian Gray is like, he's terrific as a director. So lovely, so committed, so like smart and tuned in. It kind of breezes along, and there's lots of fun, lots of commitment from him, which kind of like makes us trust him, and
he really gets the best out of us as well. I think that's probably due to he's got quite a strong actor background as far as I'm aware. He really does know how to like help us. Like I remember I was really, really anxious for one of the first rehearsals because it had been so long since I'd done this, and he could tell. So we played like those classic sort of drama games because he knew that it would be so silly that it would get me out of my head, and then we were fine. Like, but little things like that, he knows how to get the best out of us and make us feel comfortable, and he encourages us to collaborate with him as well on what we think our character would do. So
and like giving like individual attention as well.
Yes,
like, he's got a good eye for like what each of us individually are doing and like what he can help with that. That's really cool too.
Very impressive, really.
Yeah.
He would hate me saying that.
Yeah. And the great thing, as you say, with this adaptation of the version by Amy Herzog, it's not too long if people are worried about it going on for 3 or 4 hours. I think this is, we saying about an hour and a half, about
I would say so,
about that. So it's digestible, as it were, if people are worried about it being too long. Well, listen, break a leg, the pair of you, and the rest of the cast. I'll be coming along to see it 20th to 22nd of November, Ballakermeen Studio Theatre, and you can get the tickets online for this.
Yes,
yeah. If you go to the Service Players Facebook page, they've got direct links, but I believe it's Ticket Source.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Terrific. See you there.
Thank
you very much.
Should be a fascinating evening and a rare chance to see some Ibsen on the Manx stage, even though the play itself is performed all over the world. It's on the 20th to the 22nd of November at Ballakermeen Studio Theatre. Tickets still available via ticketsource.co.uk/service players, or just go to the Service Players on Facebook and you'll find the link there.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
From great drama to great music, the Isle of Man Symphony Orchestra there, and their Gala concert will be taking place a week on Sunday at the Villa Marina. That's the 22nd of November from 2:30 to 5 p.m. Always a wonderful event. The afternoon will feature music by Shostakovich, Rimsky-Korsakov, Lyudov and Sibelius. Something for everyone, and it's one of the few chances you get each year to see a full orchestral programme. So do make the most of it. I spoke to joint conductor of the Symphony Orchestra, Graham Kirkland, and asked him when rehearsals for the event got underway.
Very beginning of September. We started in the first week of September, so we usually get about 12 rehearsals in before the concert.
How big is the orchestra at the moment, roughly? I know it probably fluctuates a bit, but...
Yeah, it does fluctuate. Depends on the programme. I would think for this particular concert we've got around about 60, 65 players.
So it's a lot of work bringing them all together, presumably. I always think it's not like we're just rehearsing with a band or a quartet or a small choir. It's, lots of different musicians, a lot of them doing other projects as well and working and whatever, trying to bring them all together is quite a major thing.
It is. Organising who arrives and who comes for each of the concerts, who comes to play in the rehearsals. All of that needs to be organised so that we don't use every player for each piece. So, for example, in this particular concert, the lower brass are playing in the Sibelius Symphony, in the Rimsky-Korsakov Capriccio Espagnol. So therefore, the other two pieces, we don't need them to come and rehearse. So therefore, we schedule when they come in to play for us.
Now, you've mentioned a bit of what's going on in the programme there. So just take a look at this year's programme for the concert on the 23rd. So the Rimsky-Korsakov first. This is a piece that people will know.
Yes, I think so. We played it, Symphony Orchestra played it about 7 or 8 years ago. So those of who came to that particular concert will probably remember it. It's a very sparkling, festive piece. It's almost like a concert overture. 5 different sections to it, each reflecting an aspect of Spanish folk music, Spanish dance, Spanish life in general.
So quite bright, sparkling, nice sort of light piece.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then the next one I didn't recognise. This is Lyudov, The Enchanted Lake.
Yeah, Lyudov's not one of the heavyweights of the Russian world in music, and probably unfairly so, I think, because it's a splendid piece of music. It's probably, you can describe it as being more akin to the French Impressionists, Debussy and Ravel. So those who are coming to the concert who want to chill out and relax, this is the piece for them because it's very zen.
Oh, we like a bit of zen. That's nice. Shostakovich, Piano Concerto No. 2.
Very light, witty, sparkling, charming. A lot of notes for the pianist to play.
Lovely. And who's the soloist?
Soloist is Dominika Mack, who was introduced to me by a mutual friend. She's born in Poland, but she's a Cambridge graduate, and she's currently doing a professional diploma at the Royal Academy of Music.
Wow, goodness! Is she based on the island, or is she coming over?
No,
yeah.
She lives in London.
Lives in London.
Yeah.
So coming over especially for this concert, or
coming especially for the concert, and it's her first visit to the island.
Oh, terrific! Oh, we'll have to show our best side then. And then the Sibelius you mentioned there, Symphony No. 1.
Yeah, powerful piece of music. Sibelius, Finnish composer, and very much a part of his homeland. This symphony, it's got the rugged landscapes, the forests, the ice, the lakes.
And I think this is a piece that people, even if they don't think they know it, they'll probably recognise the music.
Yeah, I think so. It's got some wonderful melodies in it. Each movement has its own character, but they all unify together. They all fit together. But it's a spectacular piece.
And how difficult is it? We were just talking before we started recording. How does the process work of coming up with the programme? Because, I mean, there's Lord knows how much music out there that you could potentially go at, I suppose, but it's got to be a balance between what is actually performable by the orchestra, what the musicians are going to be interested in playing, something that's going to challenge them and they're going to enjoy doing. But at the same time, if you scored an evening of totally obscure music which the musicians might like, then there might be no audience for it.
Absolutely, and I think that the main thing when we start to plan a programme is to look at how many rehearsals we've got. Can we produce the music to its at its best within the time span that we've got? Then we look at how the music fits together as a programme. We don't try to have too many different sound worlds going on within one programme. We try to sort of choose a variety of music, but within a kind of one era of the music repertoire.
And it always sort of gets me as well. We're blessed on the Isle of Man with a fantastic number of really, really good musicians playing in all sorts of spheres, not just classical, but whether it's folk or rock or whatever. I mean, a lot of excellent musicians on the island. I think the Symphony Orchestra is unique in just its sheer size of bringing so many musicians together to play as one. How much of a challenge is it for you or those leading the orchestra to try and do exactly that, pull all the strings together and get, because again, what we're listening to at the end of the day, it's like 70, like you say, 60, 70 musicians almost playing as one unit.
It is, and each section of the orchestra has its own needs, its own character, and depending on what they're playing, we may divide up at certain points in the rehearsal schedule and have sectional rehearsals to work on specifics for each of the instruments and instrumental groups.
So it is on at the Villa Marina. It's on the 23rd of November. And again, it's an afternoon. So again, just in case people are thinking, oh, I'm out that night, don't worry, because it's 2:30 in the afternoon. So you can go along and still get out in the evening. What's the best way to get tickets? Is that via the Villa website or direct? How do you get tickets?
By the Villa website, if you want to book it online, or you can go to the Villa Marina booking office. Or the Welcome Centre at the Sea Terminal.
Excellent. And just finally, we should also mention, if you've never been before, go and try it out, because it's very different going along to see an orchestra actually perform compared to just maybe hearing it on the radio or listening to a CD or a download or whatever the case may be. And as you were saying in the programme there, at least 3 of these pieces are new to the island.
They are. The Capriccio Espagnol, we've as I said, we performed that about 7 or 8 years ago. But the other 3 pieces are completely new to the island. So it's going to be quite an occasion to bring them here for the first time. And I think for those of people who have never been to a concert of classical music, it's an experience. You don't need necessarily to have a working knowledge of the pieces before you come. Just come, sit, enjoy, kick back and listen to it, let it wash over you, and you'll really enjoy it.
Should be a great afternoon as always. Sadly, I'm going to miss it this year. I'm off island, but there's so much work involved in these afternoons, so many people taking part. Do try and go along if you can and support it. The Royal Hall is a big old place. It'd be lovely to see it substantially filled. Before we go this evening, let's drop back down to the Loom Gallery in Laxey, where the current Perspectives exhibition is drawing to a close. We heard a little bit about it last week and a walk round, taking in as much as we could and exploring the whole issue of how art can help rehabilitation and bring comfort to those where all else fails in so many ways. Whilst I was there, though, I wanted to talk to artist Gary Bennett about some fascinating pictures on the rear wall of the gallery. This, again, is highlighting exactly this. It's the same image, reshaped, reformed and taken and examined in a whole lot of different perspectives.
Yeah, that was Hiller's idea, that, and coming from her experience working for Rock to Recovery, that if we had a wall where the same sort of concept was used in different sizes and situations, then it would show that there's different perspectives from different people, and it works really, really well. I think it was. I was very pleased with this whole concept.
It is brilliant, and
Great.
They really, some of the larger ones really grab the eye. The smaller ones, again, you need to get closer in to examine the detail. And again, it has this sort of imagery, again, of slightly haunting, and instantly gives you this feeling of, you can see the sort of a central character carrying the weight of others on their back and sort of bent over with the stress of it. And I suppose this is often, again, getting back to this whole imagery, I suppose how a lot of people feel sometimes, that they might be carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders, or have these feelings which they can't shake off. And art like this is something which not only can speak to them, but maybe think about any problems they have in a different way.
Getting into the flow state and thinking about how you feel about a specific situation, as opposed to what something looks like, can sometimes have surprising imagery. And this one in particular, The Weight of Others, has got a lot of imagination, and a lot of people have used it, like charities and things have used it to convey that struggle that some people may have in life. But we just pick up and keep moving.
Which is what it's all about. In your own life, how sort of cathartic do you think your art has been for you?
I suppose it's been really major, and it has helped tremendously well. It's very difficult to articulate certain things.
Well, which is what this exhibition is about in so many ways.
Yeah, I find it much easier to articulate concepts by actually in a 2D or 3D piece of art, as opposed to actually maybe trying to articulate it eloquently. It's not easy sometimes, because it's a long drawn out thing that, and I find it easier to perhaps make an image of it, and it kind of like it's historical, and yet trying to talk about it. You don't really seem to be able to convey that picture as well as what you can in an art form.
It's the magic of art and music, isn't it? As they often say, one picture is 1,000 words.
Absolutely, yes.
And more.
Yeah.
It is a terrific exhibition. I do urge you to get down. Just come back to Julia as we do a little full circle again. So it is here for...
Finishes on the 15th.
15th.
Yes, at 5 o'clock on the 15th.
And the opening hours for people who want to come down?
10 to 5, Tuesday to Saturday.
Do urge you to get down here. It's a lovely exhibition in its own right, but then again, when you start reading some of the writing underneath and the links with people and what the art means to them and how it can change people's lives, particularly if they have had a traumatic time or PTSD or any of these sort of problems. It really does make you think about the healing powers of art, which, of course, anyone who's been to an art exhibition might know about, but lots of others might not. Get yourself down and check it out. This wonderful exhibition finishes at 5 p.m. on Saturday. That's this coming Saturday, the 15th of November, so you've just got time to get down there. A few days left to visit. You can find out more about Rock to Recovery and add your own seed thoughts and tree doodle, as we heard about last week. That's about it for now for this week. We'll be back in 7 days when we'll hear about next year's One Act Play Festival and prompt you to get your entry in before it's too late. See you then, and in the meantime, be good. Whatever you're doing, be creative about it. Himu.